pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm hunting, looking for a come up. This is freaking awesome. Now I'm gonna pop.
Hi guys, it's Taylin. Today we're going to be talking about calls to action, or CTAs, and these are what you put in your blog post or on your website or in your newsletter that convince your readers to click through and either download an ebook or subscribe to a webinar, anything like that. Obviously they're really important. There are three main factors you'll need to think about. The first is the content, and you really want to treat your CTAs like headlines. They need to be short, 3 to 5 words is best, but they still need to be catchy and they need to be personal to the reader. So instead of doing something generic like get ebook now, you could do something like download my free copy. And the reasoning behind this is just what you have on your site needs to match what the reader is thinking in his head. So just make it really personal, and you want to make it clear what you want the reader to do. And this just means not doing too many CTAs. Once you start doing them, it can be kind of addictive and you want to do them everywhere. But if you have too many, then you are going to confuse your reader, and it's going to be like walking into Forever 21 and there's everything and you don't know where to start, so you just kind of turn around and pretend you didn't go in there. As opposed to being a really high-end boutique and walking in and you see 3 or 4 pieces of clothing on the racks. That's because they're telling you, this is what I want you to look at, this is what I want you to buy. And you usually do, because you don't get distracted. So just keep that in mind. Keep your CTAs short, personal, and clear. The next aspect of a CTA is the appearance, and this has several parts to it. The first is where it's placed on your page. Impact Branding and Design did a study that found that putting a CTA at the bottom of your blog post got the highest click-through rates and the highest conversions. And they said this is just because if a person takes the time to read your entire blog post, they're pretty invested in what you do and they're most likely to want to know more. They also found that doing a CTA on the sidebar had the lowest click-through rate, and doing a CTA on the banner had the lowest conversions. So people would click it, but they wouldn't do what you wanted them to do. And this is just because there's a lot of advertisements on the banner area of a website, and also more increasingly on the sidebar. So we're kind of training ourselves to glaze over those areas and just look for the content we want. So if you do a CTA in those locations, you really have to make them stand out and make them be very actionable, meaning that somebody reads that and wants to take action immediately. The next part of the appearance is using images as opposed to using an image of the ebook cover. And obviously using a custom Photoshop image is going to be better. The impact study found that doing a custom Photoshop photo got about an 8% click-through rate, whereas doing the ebook cover only got about a 3% click-through rate. And this is just because there's only so many ways you can design an ebook cover. Eventually they're all going to start to look the same, especially for somebody who's in your industry and is routinely looking at this information. So you really just want to take that little extra time and create a custom image and link it to your CTA, and it'll make a big difference. Finally, what you'll want to think about with your CTA's appearance is its actual appearance, how it looks. You want to think about the colors you use. You want to think if you do the CTA as a hyperlink or if you put it in a button. And you want to think about how it flows with the rest of the page that it's on. Speaking about color, you can do your branded colors. That's fairly common. But you want to be careful not to get too stiff in your appearance, because readers are used to being on your site and seeing, you know, red and blue all the time. So if you do something that pops out that's complementary because you want it to still flow, you will see some better improvements just because it's different and people want to see, ooh, what is this? Finally, with CTAs, you'll want to think about creating a sense of urgency and making the reader take action. It's a call to action. So this means just doing something as simple as saying, download free copy now, or tell me more. And it's just doing that one little tweak that will convince the reader, oh, I need to do this right now, instead of, oh, I can come back later after I've done all this other stuff, and if I feel like it, then I'll download it. So just really making it clear and to the point, like I said earlier, and just making it something that the reader wants to read. That's another thing. You can't do a CTA for everything because eventually it's going to start to look spammy. You've got to reserve them for your special content, And you'll definitely see results if you follow the 3 steps and make your CTAs better. That's all I've got for today. I hope you liked it. Check back in 2 weeks for our next video.